Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, so well, thank you so much for your time, for making us a space to have you interviewed. And first of all, well, I already know your names, but can you introduce yourselves?
Sure.
Vegard, do you want to go
My name.
first?
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
I don't know
My name
who
is
is gonna.
Vega. Me. I'm going first.
Okay.
My name is Vega. I'm one half of Norway.
Hello, my name is Christian, or Chris for short. I'm the other half of Norway, so it's quite hard to say
It's
sometimes.
okay. Not a problem. Thank you of Norway. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. And first of all, I want to ask you, where do you actually guys like met? Or what was like do you had like for example different projects before you actually met, or what where do you actually like met and said, okay, let's like work together?
Should I do this one,
Well,
Vegard? I can start off at least.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Good.
I don't know.
yeah,
You can actually take turns if you want to start, Christian, or you
yeah.
want.
I can start off, and then Vegard can, if you want to fill in, and I think you can, since we're on different different
Not a
phones and
problem.
computers, you can just stick your hand up or something. But it's quite it's basically we were both in the same music scene in Oslo, which was quite a sort of diverse scene with all kinds of electronic music, but everyone was sort of doing nights together, and we were all on the same clubs because it's quite a small city. So the difference between, let's say, Oslo and another like large city is that we all do stuff together. So DJs often played different genres of music as well. So I was doing mostly drum and bass and electro and that kind of stuff, and more sort of UK stuff, because I just come back from Britain, and I'm half British, as you might hear.
Okay.
And Vegard was doing a lot of house music. He was running
I think
label,
it's cutting off.
producing music, and had a couple of really hats in your face, Vegard. And after being in Oslo for a few years, we knew who each other were. I knew who he was, and he knew who I was. And I got in touch with this band which I knew, this sort of synth pop band, and they said, "Do you want to do a remix?" And I, having not made electronical music before, I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that." And with nothing but a sampler, obviously couldn't do anything at all. Had no idea what I was doing, and I knew that Vegard, had produced loads of stuff already, had a studio. So I reached out to him and said, basically I have this request to do a remix. I said yes, and it has to be done in like 1 week. Can you please? Can you
Wow, 1 week.
I'm desperate. Can you help me? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then we met up, and he had a really small studio underneath one of the main live music venues in Oslo called Rockefeller. So he was down in the basement there. And went along, and in about a week we managed to churn out the remix for this band called Snoodle, and it turned out really, really well actually. And the label that we made the remix for actually didn't want the remix, so we ended up signing it to a Swedish company called Audioban, which is run by a guy called Martin Brodin. And he ended up releasing on vinyl. So that was like the first release was like a vinyl release on Audioban, and that was I think it was released in 2007. So
Yeah.
I think we started. But that took some time. So I think that we started working together in 2006. So we're coming up to a 30-year anniversary soon, isn't it? Is it? No, that's wrong. Is it 20-year? No, 20-year. Oh,
20.
yeah. No,
20.
20th. Yeah, 20th anniversary in 2026. So we've been making music together. So yeah, after that we sort of just thought, okay, that was cool. Let's do some more. And then we did mostly we did mostly remixes actually to start off with. So if you go and and search for Of Norway remix or Of Norway version, which we called all our versions, there's loads of them. So we did that such a long time, and then we didn't spend that much time in making our own stuff. So that's what we mostly focus on now, is not doing remixes but doing our own things. And so Vegard, over to you if you have anything to add.
No, not really. But I think maybe you cut out the sound at some point there.
Yeah, it was actually
in the beginning.
cut
Oh, okay.
So if you just maybe I can just sum it up. We met like in
you can
2000. We met in I don't remember when we met, but we met through DJing because Oslo is quite small and we played together and everybody knows who everybody is. And then at some point Chris had some friends in a band called Snooten, which he told the story about now, and they asked him to do a remix and he said yes, even though he doesn't know how to or didn't know how to.
You're not gonna forget that.
No, he didn't know.
So
he got the job. Got the job on false premises, and then he asked me because he knew I was making some music and had some releases on some labels and stuff. He said, "Okay, can you help me? Can we do a track?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Not sure how it was going to be because working together on music is not simple if you're two people who are very or the technical ones and everybody wants to press the keys all the time and stuff. But luckily Chris was like content having more of the ideas and more. I mean, the workflow just worked really well, and so we made a record, and the guys didn't want it, as he said, but Martin Brodin wanted it for the other label, and so it got released anyway. So yeah, that's how we met in 2006, 7-ish.
Yeah, I think it's about 2006. I think something like that.
I just went to look at our discography and see if we could. It's released in 2007 at least.
Yeah, released 2007. So I think we started off. I think late 2006. And then after since that we've been meeting up regularly. We used to meet up like 4 or 5 times a week to make music, and now we're down to 2 times a week. But our work, which we do, the work that we live off, our sort of careers are getting more busy, and we're both married as well, and have other commitments as well. So now we meet up twice a week, and so we make music every Tuesday and Wednesday in where Vegard is sitting there in this basement.
Yep.
So that's our studio there. So maybe we can have a little camera tour a bit later on before we, or we can do it now. I'm not sure. Yeah, do it now.
It's not a big studio.
Pan around there.
Okay, hang on. So
check out the gear.
There we go. Got some gear there and some stuff there, and we have like most of our like synths and stuff are in like boxes that we just take out.
Is that the X7 or no?
No. Which one was it you were looking at?
I think the synth, the big synth on the.
Oh yeah, no, that's
on the floor,
this one.
Yes. Oh yeah, I kind of look like that DX7.
Yeah, no, it's not the DX7. It's an old. This was my first synthesizer. I got it for Christmas when I was like 14 or something.
Wow.
And
that was a really nice Christmas gift.
Yeah. Very nice. It's a Korg DSS-1. It's an old digital synth with a sampler bit. Very big, very cumbersome. Nothing super special about it, but it has a really nice filter, so for like pads and stuff. But we don't use it now because it's too big for the studio.
Yeah, it's actually so big that we can't actually have it up because it's actually too wide and it's too big.
Yeah, it's like.
I think it also needs to. Yeah, I think it also needs an overhaul. To be honest, I'm not sure that it actually works.
Well, actually, I think.
I think we.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that I think every synth is special. I mean, they have like different sounds, different like frequencies that you can actually work on. So I have actually made an interesting podcast about the very first synthesizer that is called the Telharmonium. It was a really, really big synth. Like, it actually could fit your house. You couldn't fit your house with that synthesizer, so it was a really big one.
Wow.
The guy that made it.
What was it called?
The Telharmonium.
Telharmonium. No, don't know it.
Yeah, it's the first
Cool.
the first synthesizer in human history. So after that, well, it was not really a big success with that synth, but actually it was a really big step to actually the creation of synths. So, well, if you have so if you have like time to hear that out, well, it's a brief or really brief description of that big synthesizer. So yeah, I mean, I'm actually quite interested in the music. So
cool.
Well, that is actually
you're interested in the music technology as well.
Yes. I mean, I don't know.
Not just the music.
Yes, I'm not really know like a lot of things, but well, I know some of the stuff. But but it's a really interesting subject to talk on also. So
cool.
So well, that is a really interesting story how you actually guys met. So yeah, I actually think that when ideas converge, like synthesize, I think synthesize ideas. So yeah, it's actually kind of poetic. You can actually tell that. So so yes, actually synthesizers are like that. Synthesize like ideas, synthesize sounds. So so that's really nice, a nice story that you actually guys have. And after you actually started, I have another question for you guys. After you actually started, you said that you actually started with remixes, and then you started to actually produce like well actually you as a duo. So what was actually the first like single release? I mean, what was the first one that you actually for example, the new ideas that you actually started with?
We I'm looking at our discography again to see where we started. Because
I think it was the one on
remember.
Afro Art, wasn't that, Vegard? I think it was it Governor's Daughter or was it Dark and Loves? I can't remember.
Dialect Records, it says Arch Enemy was our first release as of Norway.
So like
the
first track from you guys, like the first single.
Yeah, that was.
First, that wasn't a remix.
Yeah, that was the first one that wasn't remixed. There was a French label called Dialect. They were quite. They were into sort of like the French, the French minimal, scene. There was, like Circus Record, no Circus Company and Dialect. They had the same sort of sound, and they released stuff by friends or people that we knew from Oslo already. Like I think that was the Sheks and Truls and Robin and bands and acts, and also they had I think they had Lindström and other acts from Norway, and then they did this compilation called I Love Norway.
I Love Norway.
And so they so they reached out basically because we were in the same music scene and these other artists that were signed to Dialect. So we did this track there, and that was the first. That was the first one that we did with. It was not a remix, and then after that we did a couple of 12 inches on a label called Afro Art from London. And then after that, sort of the whole digital scene started to come along, because we did a few vinyl releases, and then no one really released vinyl anymore because everything was going to be digital, and then it was kind of we did a handful of singles for Darker Doves, and also we got in touch with Connoisseur that way. Connoisseur Recordings, which is one of the labels we release most on these days. So then we ended up on the compilation for them, and then we sort of kickstarted our live career. So we've done a lot of live gigs. That was basically, we also do DJ gigs, but we did a lot of live gigs. And it's through Connoisseur that we played the first time in Germany. That was pretty awesome, coming from Oslo, you know, and suddenly ending up in Berlin playing, you know, at 12 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. You know,
yeah,
and
really?
it was quite insane. So it's been a sort of series of events which has been kind of like snowballed, you know, from doing a remix, doing another remix, and then doing our own track, and then suddenly getting a live booking. Remember, we got a live booking in Oslo, and we said, yeah, sure, we can play live. Obviously, never done that before. That was also 1 week before. So I remember that, Mary. I remember that we sat like for like 48 hours, like in my old apartment, like shitting our pants. We're like, what are we gonna do? And we just all kinds of equipment that we had. We had like old samplers, Korg samplers, and all this kind of stuff. And we managed to do a live set as well. And then we just sort of from that to be refining it and been through like 50 versions of this. So
actually,
it's
I think
been
it's
a long journey.
That's a really interesting thing, because mixing like with CDJs or vinyls is not actually the same as mixing with live setup. I think that you get more ideas when you actually get to actually play live. You get like more ideas. Okay, I want to put that in here. The thing that you cannot do on the CDJ or vinyl. Well, you can do it, but you can actually find. You need to find. I'm sorry. You need to find the right track with the right sound that you're looking for. But I think that on a live setup is like more like fun. I think it's more fun because we actually go and go ahead and let's go and hear this out. I'm gonna put this in here, and then if it's good, I'm gonna put it in there. So I think it's a really interesting thing to do, to have them live. Most DJs don't do that. So actually another DJ that does that is I think is Rodriguez Jr. He also he does that.
He does like a hybrid thing, doesn't he?
Hybrid thing, yeah.
So yeah,
I think that's sorry?
Yes, go ahead. Sorry, Beggar. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I think it's the distinction to be made between live and DJing, because most audience probably doesn't know whether you play live or you play as a DJ, unless you play on a like big modular setup, something like that, with guitars and drums and stuff like that as well. But when we play live, we play exclusively our own tracks. That's one thing. We don't play any tracks from anyone else. And when we play live, we can take elements from one of our tracks and mix with another one and another one and another one, and it becomes like a hybrid track, and jam a little bit in between. When we play as DJs, we can pull from anywhere, but then we have like the whole song. So you can't like take, or you could, but we don't do that. You can't like take the drums and the vocals from one track and put with the bass from another and the synths from a third. That's sort of like a difference between it, and both things are equally difficult or equally easy, whatever you want to use it, and equally rewarding, I think. But
but I think that with a live setup you can actually work on your creative side, I think.
Yeah, I think you should do that as a DJ as well, but DJing is more about programming and more about, to me at least, it's more about finding the right track for the right moment and mixing it as well as possible.
So when you're actually playing live, Shazam won't work.
Not usually, no, because
Not usually, no.
often the tempo, the BPM is off and everything, and you know if you
Yeah.
pitch a track up or down, it's kind of hard for Shazam
Yes,
to
it's
recognize it, you know.
sometimes there's a frustration for some fans, and it's like, I want to know that track, but oh no,
Yeah.
the Shazam doesn't work here. Like,
I think maybe it worked better with our new live set because we've decided that we play mostly clubs when we play live, so we want our tracks to be kind of true to what they are and not like ever long jams. So what we do now is we sort of DJ a little bit with our live sets as well. So we play our tracks pretty faithful to the original. So maybe this time you can Shazam us a little bit.
Yeah.
and well, I was actually, this is really interesting thing also to hear that out, and thank you so much for sharing. I have another quick question. Actually, with putting more elements to these other things that we were talking about. What are actually your inspirations? I mean, what are your like inspirations, and also like motivations, or maybe like what actually drives you to actually produce? What are your I don't know, your music that you actually think of when you actually
Inspirations.
produce? Thank you.
Do you want to start, Chris?
I don't know. Yes,
I'm sorry. I
anything,
always forgot to say if you want to say that, Christian, or.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a sound, you know. It could be like a feeling in the track. It doesn't have to be another electronic track. It could be the way someone sings something, maybe the way a bass sounds in the track, or you know, if someone uses like some sort of instrument, or maybe percussion from something else. It's really sort of I think inspiration that could also be, you know, going out. It could be DJing. I mean, when we DJ together, sometimes, you know, let's say I play a track or Vegard plays a track and I haven't heard it before, and I think, oh, that's really cool. That's a cool bass line or something. You know, that's a nice way of doing this, or that's a cool way to use a vocal. Then we can get inspired by that. Or it could be anything. Like sometimes it could be just listening to like local radio. I mean, on one of our newest tracks, we've actually sampled like someone talking on local radio, and that sounds cool, you know. But I think inspiration is. I mean, we're not that young anymore. We're getting older, and we've been listening to music all our lives. And we both work. I mean, we both work with sound and music, both of us, as our day job. So we were sort of listening to music and sound all day long. So it just kind of gets stored in the brain, and then we just take it out when we need it, in a way. It's you know, I think it was different when we were younger. I think when you're younger and you play music, let's say when I was younger myself, when I was in band when I was like 16, I was like influenced by like Metallica, because I thought they were cool. So I tried to make heavy rock like Metallica. So but that's not really the case anymore. So it's more sort of like I think, you know, maybe Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds has some cool percussion on this one track. I think, okay, that would be cool if we could make that into a disco groove or something. You know, it's sort of, it just comes from everywhere. And also the second part of the question was, you know, one thing is inspiration, the other one is motivation. And I think the motivation is very, very fun to make things, new things. You know, it's nice to create. It's nice. You know, it's a fantastically great hobby to have. You know, it's fun, and it's extremely satisfying when after let's say we had a session and after like 3 hours, to maybe think, God, this is really good. You know, we're feeling it. You know, I think that's the motivation, at least for me. So I don't know about you, Vegard.
Go ahead, Vegard.
Yeah, cool. Inspiration, first of all, is, I think we kind of, when people ask us to do a remix, for instance, they often have like a sound in mind that, you know, oh, you could do a great remix of this because of your last release or whatever. And I won't say they get disappointed, but quite often people get surprised because we do this and this and this and this and this. We do so many genres. We don't have like, our inspiration is so jumbled because we're not like a band who does like, or producers that do one thing. We do a lot of different things because we play a lot of different things. And as Chris said, we've been doing music since, I mean, I've been DJing since 97 or 98.
97.
And yeah, and probably Chris as well, which means we've been collecting a lot of music. We like a lot of music and we have inspiration. So it's a bit chaotic. So inspiration can be anything. I mean, for me, I'm more on the technical side, I guess. So for me, it might be like a new synthesizer or a new patch or a new idea about how to make a drum or something like that as well. As for motivation, I don't know. It's like some things you do to make a living, like go to work and stuff, and some things you'll die for. And this is something I would rather die for, you know. It's something that I would do. We don't make a lot of money out of it, and I still want to do it. I mean, some years we probably spend more money than we make, and I'll still do it because
you love it.
You need some, you need some focus in your life. You need something. I mean, you need something to do that isn't your job. Some people play football. Some people watch series. Some people collect stuff, and this is what we do for
for a living.
Life, I think. Yeah, for not for a living, but for a purpose in life.
For purpose in life, yes. Yeah, that is the correct word. Purpose in life, yes.
Yeah. So that's the motivation, just to create and express and, you know, see what you can make, I guess.
Yeah, that's a really nice answer from you guys. I mean, that really inspires me to actually start doing those kind of things too.
Do it.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. So, well, let's continue with this interview. Well, the next question that I have for you guys is about Bedrock. It's actually one of the most important, I think, the most important labels on the underground scene, I think, around the world. So I've been noticing, because I'm a really John Digweed fan, I'm Bedrock Records fan, as you can notice. I've been actually hearing some of the sets that John Digweed actually plays about some years ago, and you caught John Digweed's attention because he was actually supporting your tracks. For example, the one that you actually told us, Connoisseur, that's the label.
Connoisseur. That's the label, yeah.
I actually told you guys the name of the track, but I forgot the name of the track that it was actually because I remember that track. It was it has like a.
I think it was Smeigedag, was it? It's a difficult to pronounce.
Is it a new one?
If you're not Norwegian. Is it quite a new one?
No, it's actually a Oh no, you're talking about the one that I actually told you.
The old one. Oh yeah.
No, it was actually an old one. It's actually with the
background. I know which one you mean.
The black.
The one with the black. It's Black College on concert. You know the disco track.
I forgot.
Oh,
the name
is it
Liberty?
Libertine, yes.
Libertine, that's the one.
That is actually the first track that I heard from you guys. Actually, that was the first. Actually, I know you guys because of John. So when he actually played that track, wow, it was like a drum. Was that like drum and bass? Like track. So I actually enjoyed it. Really. How can I say, like, really melodic sound. Like, I really love that track. And also John, actually, you caught John's attention with that track. So how do you actually feel when John actually plays your tracks, what was like the? I think that's kind of the approach to sign with Bedrock. But how do you actually feel? I mean, how do you felt when John started playing your tracks?
Wow. I remember the first time John actually played one of my tracks, which was before I met Christian and before of Norway, and I couldn't believe it. It's like, oh my God, it's in. That was like, people didn't use the internet that much at those days as well, so it was like someone called me and said, "Is this your track?" And I'm like, "Yeah." John just played it. And I was wow. But yeah, fast forward, and the thing is, when you release music like we do, it's not always we know who play it. We can't, because we're in the studio, in a little studio in Norway, making music and living our lives here. So we don't know when we send it out. We don't really know who plays it. So it's a big surprise when someone as big as John picks it up and puts it out in like these massive arenas. I'm like, whoa, that happened. And obviously it's a good feeling. I mean, it's a fantastic feeling, but it's also a bit surreal because we're only used to hearing it when we play it in smaller clubs or at home, and you never know the life of your tracks, and maybe it's a track we've heard like a million times and be like, oh God, this again, because we've been working on it for so long, and then you hear someone play it in a big set and like, whoa, it actually sounds great because you hear it in another different context. So, surprise, and
that's a really interesting thing that you're actually saying, because I can I was actually talking with one of my friends that also likes that also like music. Totally different when you're actually listening to the tracks like on iTunes or Spotify and you actually hear them live. It's really different. I mean, the
very
vibe,
different.
the vibe is different. I mean, I think also when you're the DJ is actually playing over the on the decks, and when a guy is a raver, it's totally different. I mean, I think it's the sounds are actually really different, and the vibe also. I mean, you can actually connect. I mean, that's a different thing. You can connect with the crowd, the DJ and the crowd. But I think on both ways, I mean, on different ways, it's kind of a different feeling. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. I also think that just by playing a track in a club, and when people react to it, they become part of that track. It's like a DJ is only as good as the audience who's there, maybe, or something like that. And when you see people reacting to your track, or you feel the energy of that, then it's like, wow.
You got the chills. You got like the chills.
Yeah. Like, wow. Yeah. I mean, you get like, wow, fantastic. So but we as I said, we can't, we don't always know who music and who like music, because it's impossible to follow, because you send it to the label, they send it to the mastering, they put the graphics on and they send it out, and then you get like a few feedbacks, maybe like, oh, like your track, and you have at least we don't have any idea, is it something that people play or like, or is it, we don't know.
Okay, Chris, you want to say something?
As Vegard says, it's still, I think it's still really cool every single time we find out that someone's been playing it, because as Vegard says, you're sitting in the studio and you're making a track, and by the time it's done, by the time it's mixed and produced and sent out, you listen to it like 5,000 times, and you're sort of like disconnected from it, what it really sounds like. And when you hear someone playing, and also hearing it in a mix where it's supposed to be in between other tracks, instead of listening to it from the first note to the end note, where often it starts off somewhere and progresses and then it ends. It's really nice to hear it in a mix with other tracks, and also hearing it in other, someone's either slows the track down a lot. That's also really cool. I mean, I remember Andrew Weatherall has played some of our tracks, but he always played really slow. Well, not always, but sometimes played really slow. And then it was really cool to hear tracks then, and also if someone really speeds them up as well, it's fun. And it doesn't matter been doing this for 20 years. It's still just as cool when someone, let's say, sends us a video or something and say, "Holy shit, John Lee, we played your track in Argentina." And we're like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like massive, and we're sitting in a little basement on the east side of Oslo, in the winter, and then we see someone in Argentina with 100,000 people, and it's really nice. It's a really good feeling, and it's excellent to hear it out of our known context, out of the safe, the four walls that we sat in. It's excellent. I love it. So please, if anyone hears our tracks we play out, send us a message. We love it. Seriously,
yeah. I will. Well, actually, that is an interesting thing that you said. It doesn't matter at what tempo you're actually going. I think the most important thing is how to connect with the crowd. Because I think nowadays, most people think, I think that most people think that that more, if you have more tempo with it, or more punch, like they said, or more like kick into the track, it is gonna be like more amazing. And no, I think that's not true. I mean, I think the true thing is that how that track is actually makes you feel, or how do you connect with that track. And I think in some ways I think that the crowd is losing that, I think, in my opinion, because when I go to the raves and other parties, I see guys or girls that they're expecting for the kick, and I like, I mean, you don't need for the kick to actually enjoy. I mean, I know it's like the climax of the track, because that's a really different thing about tracks, right? Because you have different parts of the track that goes into the climax, which is, I think that's the thing about all tracks. So, but I think that is actually an interesting thing to see. And also I think that most guys that I see, they're expecting for the kick, not for going into the melody of the track, not to expect only the climax.
I think it's a bit not sad, but it's a bit because of social media and because of TikTok and things that has to last for like 10 seconds for people to get likes and get following and then get bookings. I think it's kind of ruining it a bit, because everybody just want to show this 2-second drop where it's like, oh, this is the drop, and the crowd goes, way, and then there's like 5 or 10 more minutes of track in between where people aren't ecstatic. And I think it's sort of ruining it a little bit, because at least when we went to parties and when we go to parties, it's a whole, it's like you can't have like big drops every 5 minutes, because then you'll just be like bored with it. It's like, so I don't know, this whole everything has to happen like I think it's ruining it a little bit. And I think we have a little bit, maybe we do, at least a lot of our tracks doesn't include like a big climax. We just have like a track that goes a little bit like, not like boom and then go. And I think that's sort of like, we try to make consciously or subconsciously music that you can listen through the whole track and it makes sense. It's not just a tiny little bit of moment in time that is good and everything else around the track is just boring and you're just waiting for the drop. I hope
I agree, Vigor, and it's like because it's a trend now, and there's actually I see several DJs that follow now that they've stopped posting videos, because usually what's become normal the last couple of years is you get someone plays a gig and you get like a carousel, like 5 videos or something on Instagram, and usually shot from behind, and they only shoot the when either the climax or the track comes or the drop comes or something like that. There's been a couple of big DJs out there who are now saying that they don't want to do that anymore because it creates a false expectation when they're put to play. Because if everyone thinks that's the way it's supposed to be, you only to go from banger to banger to banger to banger, and you're going to play for 5 hours. It's not possible. So see this reaction now. It's exhausting, and I've seen some DJs now who they post videos, but they take away the sound now because it's ruining it for themselves, and it's also ruining in a way the scene in a way because it's all about the sort of the 15 seconds almost TikTok attention span thing that is it's next.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Banger, 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 and if you play a set of even if you play for 2 hours, so you're not just going to play the bangers. Even DJs who are known to play bangers can't just play 90s hits or something. It's often if you see a DJ and all the clips you see are some sort of either a mashup or an old track or just something. It's not really representative of what they actually play. So I mean I think maybe we've sort of reached a point where it's just so saturated with just everything's so geared up towards social media that hopefully that we'll see a reaction against that. That I even saw. It's obviously not the genre that we're doing, but even saw Ellen Allian, quite a big techno DJ. Her latest videos are posted without sound, so I think also she's quite sick of that. People expecting banger, banger, banger. Also Martin as well from the Netherlands. He also posted a big thing about. I actually claimed someone posted some videos from his set and he said that this is not how I play. This is not my style. Just to let in case he gets booked somewhere and they're thinking, why are you not just playing bangers all the time? So this is maybe 2 tracks in 5 hours. So
I think that's what I think that's what I love about Germany the most, about Berlin, that you can't film in a club. There's no phones, no picture. Or you can have your phone, but you can't use the camera on it.
Yeah.
And I love that because then you're like, in a club, it's a free zone. You can be who you are, whatever you are, do what you want to do, and not be looking at the cameras all the time, but actually be there together and dance and be at a club.
Just
together.
focus on the music. Yeah.
Focus. Exactly. Yeah.
Focus on having fun. That's why you're there, not on filming the fun so you can post it later, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I sometimes do that. Because I like to actually know what my friends what I'm actually doing, so I can show them what I'm actually doing and what tracks that they're actually playing. But you're actually right. I mean, it actually kind of kills the vibe. Like John Dewey once said actually about this. Because if you have the phones right in front of the DJ, and you're actually putting like the light in there in front of him, it was like, I mean, get that away from me, right? I mean, I mean, it kills like the thing that you're actually thinking. I mean, the idea that you have. Yeah, that is
But I mean, at the same time, it's a two sides to this story because, as we just said, we love and we get exposure from people posting our tracks online and stuff. So obviously, it's also a good thing that somebody does it, but just not all the time, I guess. Just also enjoy the party a little bit.
Yes, we can actually find the balance of it, right? I mean, not too much of this, not too much of that. So we can find the balance with both sides. But yeah, definitely when you're going to the to a gig, no phones. I mean, well, if you can avoid the phones, you can just live with it. I mean, live with the moment. And like before, I mean, before the phones and everything, I think that most of the people enjoyed more about the music, not about posting it on Instagram or putting them on WhatsApp or on other social media. So yes, you're actually, that is a really interesting thing about to talk. I have another actually, well, getting into more into John Dewey. yeah, he actually has that thought about getting into the to the mixes, because well, he doesn't have like well, hearing all of his mixes, um, he doesn't have like a line, like just one genre or just one sound. He actually varies from one tone to another tone. So I think that's like you actually said, Chris. It's a really thing to actually have that balance, because yeah, if you focus on just one genre, I mean, it's exhausting in some at some point. Not always,
Yeah.
because well, some of the DJs, they have their own sound, their own yeah, their own, like the typical sound that they actually play. So, but yeah, I think that you can actually vary with different sounds, not just to stick with just one genre or just one type of sound. So yeah, it's actually, I think that's to get the balance. So
I think he said something like this in his last interview, that he didn't like to be pigeonholed, because everyone's like, oh, progressive house, you're doing progressive house, and it's like, what is progressive house? I'm just playing music that I like,
yeah,
and putting it together, and that's
music
if
that
you,
you like.
focus very much. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you choose something and only that thing, then you leave out everything else, which might be good, you know. So I think that's his.
Yeah.
So
That's his point.
I think that in that way, I think that's why John caught your attention, because you actually don't have because well, I'm also hearing your tracks. You don't have like a specific genre or a specific sound, and that's the thing that I'm actually noticing when he plays your tracks and when I'm listening to your tracks, because all of them sound different. I mean, some of them have some similar sounds, like for example, there's sometimes when I actually listen to your tracks, for example, that track Smay that, no, I'm sorry,
Smagedag.
Negadag.
Yeah.
Negadag,
Yeah.
yeah.
Smagedag. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's like a Norwegian word, I think.
Yeah.
It's a very niche Norwegian word. It's from the south of Norway. It's not used everywhere, I guess.
Okay.
So it's a very hard one to pronounce, but it's Smagedag.
Smagedag. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it right now.
Yeah, good.
We actually, some of us got confused with that track because we thought it was another track. It was we thought it was Pachanga. Yeah, we thought it was Pachanga Boys Time, which is a really classic track from Pachanga Boys.
Yeah,
Boys is,
I know it.
Rebolledo from Mexico. And,
And Super Pitcher. Yeah.
Yeah, and Super Pitcher.
Super Pitcher. Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of when you hear when we were hearing that track first, we were like, oh, is this a remix from Pachanga Boys? But no, when we heard the previews from you guys, it was like, no, it was not that track. It was Smagedag of Norway.
So, we realized they do sound quite similar. I think maybe they have like the same chords progression, or at least a very similar chord progression.
Yeah, it's quite similar. The chords are quite similar, yeah.
Because I know that the Time is a sample, isn't it? The chords there is a sample from a very nice track that I can't remember the name of. And yeah, we also hear that they do sound quite similar, but it's quite coincidental. We didn't really know until we've played it. And it's like, oh, that sounds a bit like another track, doesn't it? So
yeah, really.
It's a four chord progression, and I think it's probably not the exact same, but it's a very similar chord progression.
I'd say that it sounds quite similar in a way, and it's the same feeling.
Same aesthetics, maybe.
Yeah, aesthetics are pretty similar. Yeah. So no, it's I mean we both love Time, you know.
Yeah.
It's a great track.
But you didn't listen to Time. You didn't listen to Time before you were actually. No, I'm sorry. you were not listening to the track when you're actually making Smegada. Smegada? I'm sorry, Smegada.
No, we didn't listen to it. We used time when we did the mix down to do a comparison on sound. How does their music sound?
Sound mix, yeah.
Well, like just
okay.
sound balance and stuff.
Sonics,
But when we Sonics. When we composed it, we didn't really think of it, and then we thought, after, oh, this sounds a bit like that. Maybe we should use that as a reference track for mix down of this one. Not gonna try and pretend that our track sounds as good as the Shanga Boys.
Oh no. No, well, it's not like I think it's not like better or worse. I think it's you have your unique sound, and it sounds different. Well, in my opinion, I think.
I'm proud of Smigedag. Yeah, I am. But we used the time for the reference for the mix down, which is like the last thing you do over the track before you send it to mastering, just to get it to sound like, is the kick too loud, is the bass loud enough?
Yeah, the balance,
etc.
right, and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mastering of the track.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or mix before mastering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that out and to clear that out, because we were like, is that time?
It's not a remix of Pashanga Boys. No, it's not. It's not a remix.
Okay. Thank you so much for clearing that out. So, I have another question. Actually, two more questions, because I think you're actually busy or making you have other things to do. Because, well, in this case, I want to ask you. This is more like about your EP and your track that is on Futuro, on Bedrock Futuro.
Yeah.
First of all, the very first. Well, I'm not. I don't quite remember, but this is your first EP on Bedrock, right? The Sliver EP.
Yeah. So it's
first actual EP.
Actual full EP was we released 2 tracks on the what's this?
From Miami.
Miami.
Digest?
No, it wasn't that. It was on. Oh God.
Island Hills.
Yes.
Oh
Island Hills album.
Yeah, I forgot
about
that. Yes.
Sorry, Island Hills. I can't remember the name of the album now. Something in time.
Strangers in.
It's called Strangers in Paradise.
Yes, Strangers in Paradise. Yes. I'm sorry, I totally forgot about that track. I'm so sorry. Yes, actually, yes.
No,
that was your first. Yeah, that was your first collaboration.
That's a co-production. Yeah, collaboration. Yeah. So that was actually co-production with them. And then after that, we sort of we were in touch with Bedrock, and I think we asked if we could send them some more music. I think. And then we sent them a few tracks. I think we sent them we sent them 3 tracks, yeah. And then 2 of them became the Sliver EP, the 2-track EP, and then the third one went to the Futuro compilation. So they were basically signed at the same time, and then they were spaced out. So we had the Sliver one first, and then Futuro that came around last week. Yeah.
And how do you actually feel when you actually? Oh, what happened? Are you okay?
No, it's just COVID. It's just COVID.
Oh, sorry. You're actually.
It's okay. Don't worry.
That's why we're sitting in different rooms or different. Yeah, we're each. I'm at home and he's at home because the bigger has COVID. So.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. So it was really cool. It's it's always been such a massive label, and they've been going for such a long time. We never really thought that they'd be interested, So that was pretty nice. It's a nice surprise, I must say. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how do you actually did Island Hill ask you to collaborate with them, or you approached to them? How do you actually?
But they asked us because we released something on the guy called Dibby Doherty in Island Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He used to run a label called Dharma. This is ages ago, like 10, 12 years ago. And then we did a remix of what's the remix called? It's Kelly Pavan.
It's called Are You There? Is it called?
Are You
Something
There?
like that?
I'm not. And it's by an artist called Kelly Pavan, and he released it on Dharma Records, and then we did a remix for them. And then I do remember, I think that was played quite a lot by, I think it was played by both Nick Warren and I think also John Digweed, maybe Sasha played it as well. It's weird because it's a very sort of down tempo, very smooth sort of balearic disco track that I've heard it being played early in their sets. That's like 10, 12 years ago, and then we've been kept in touch with Dibby, which is one of the guys in Island Hill, and then he reached out to you, did it? I think he did.
Yeah, we stayed in touch.
Also, basically to do a remix, but then it ended up becoming a collaboration.
Oh,
So,
so first it was like,
it
was intended to remix,
and then it's sort of it was like a collaboration of the two, so it wasn't because it was I'm not sure how that happened, but it just kind of happened. Sometimes you don't really have control of these things; it just happened. Yeah.
It's like the Murphy's Law, whatever can happen. Whatever.
Well, in reverse, I think. Yeah, I think Murphy's Law.
It's a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
Murphy's Law in reverse. Yeah.
I think actually, to be fair, I think we just misread the first email because I think it said collaboration, but it was like so many things, and these are doing that, and we are doing, and we just said yes and did it, and that's typical us. We just did a track,
and I'm really happy with that one. I think it's a really nice, nice track. So happy with that.
Yeah.
One.
Cool. Big shout out to them. Thanks to Dibby and the crew.
Yeah, definitely.
He will definitely. Well, I'm sorry. They will definitely hear this out. So I'm gonna send it to them.
Fantastic.
Well, let's get into the EP of Sliver. What was I mean, what was like your idea of getting that name Sliver? Because before that I actually saw that I think that they misplaced the word because in some ways it said silver and then it was saying sliver.
Yeah.
But what was I'm sorry, what was the correct name of the track? Sliver or silver?
Sliver.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like sliver of hope. Yeah, sliver, like a sliver of hope, or
sliver is like a small slice, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a
slice. Yeah. And also being Nirvana fan, it's also one of their EPs is called Sliver. It's fantastic. So it was nice little homage to them. But no, it just means sliver is like a small piece of something.
Okay.
So, and this is also another. I was just gonna say that this is another typical of Norway thing. We choose a name that is everybody gets wrong. And then it's also ungoogleable, so it's that's a typical us thing. We just choose a name that is a bad name for social media, and everybody gets it wrong. But yeah.
But this is Sliver. That is the original.
It is Sliver. Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. So you got like what was like the idea? Or what was the approach to have that produced?
The track. I think, to be honest, it was a bit of production out of necessity because we were asked to do the two tracks because we contacted this guy called Scott, and he's working for Bedrock, and he said, yeah, sure, we'd like to have like an EP, blah 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 blah. Could you do one more track? We sent him the first track, and I was like, can you do one more track? And then we just like, oh shit, they want an EP. We have to do a track.
Yeah.
And we probably want to do something that is a bit more dancey because the other track on there, which I can't remember the name of now, is a bit slower. It's like 110, 115 BPM, more sort of slow burner. So we thought we didn't really know what we want to make, which we have never do, but we thought we'd do something a little bit more dancey and a little bit more like retro throwback. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an old school
Yeah.
vocals. I can hear that out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
proper sort of
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Do like it's something very housey because like I said, the other track was like 115 BPM bass driven house track. I thought, okay, why not? Let's use some vocals, just all out vocals, not vocals, but a vocal sample,
Mm-hmm.
and just really work it and get the stabs in there and just make a roller basically. And it's something that we don't really do that often.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite
fun.
Yeah. So it's fun and it's good. It's fun to make a track like that sometimes as well.
Yeah. I think the other track is more about the drum and bass, right? I mean, you actually
Yeah. Yes, it's more bass. It's bass driven basically. While the Sliver is more stabbing and vocal hook sort of or vocal sample driven in a way.
Yeah, it's like
Sliver is more of like a simpler, more like just a dance track. Really, it's like maybe a little bit less emotional, but more like just something you can play almost whenever in a set. And so it's good for a live set. Very good for a live set. We've figured out.
Yeah, you can play. We can. You can play with more sounds added to that track when you play live.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. You can add, especially like you can add more drums and everything. That's And also, if you want, we can do. We can strip things away from it as well to make it more minimal sounding as well. So it's a good live track.
I think the bigger answer to the question is what do we want with our music, and it's very seldom we have like a really like proper idea. This is what we're gonna do. It's mostly like it just happens. We find a good sound, or we find something that we like, and we make it, and we remake it, and remake it, and remake it until it's a track we like. It's not often we have like a crystal clear idea. Yeah, I mean, or take away things, but it's not often we have like an idea that we're gonna make a track that is this, and this, and then it ends up being that. We just sit down and do whatever we feel like at the moment, and that's why you have, as you said, we have so much. Our music is so different. It's not like it's not. You can't always pick up a track and say, "Oh, that must be of Norway," because it's,
yeah.
It could be anything.
And actually, I found that really interesting, Beggar, when you actually said about when we were talking, the track that is actually included in the Bedrock Futuro, that is called I Miss You. I think the name of the track, it's because you miss your cat Candy.
Yeah. My cat, God bless her. She died.
Yeah, God bless her.
It's horrible. That's probably the only idea we had. When I started that track, and that was the only.
Because that was straight after Candy died, wasn't it? I think that was made.
Yeah.
We have got several tracks. I think we have 2 tracks that you started off.
So it has like that was the only thing I knew. I wanted to have like a vocal saying "I miss you" and "I love you." That was the only thing I knew about that track before we started it.
Yeah, that was.
It's not like it's not like a very, very emotional track. Like when you listen to it, I don't think you'd think, "Oh my God, this is about loss." But so that's the little homage to Candy in there.
But you were thinking about Candy when you're making that track.
I'm thinking about Candy all the time. But that was the only thing I knew. I wanted to make a track with like with the words "I miss you" and "I love you" because I just lost her.
God bless her. And thank you so much for actually sharing that music with us in Pedro Futuro, and congratulations to both of you that
Thank you.
That track is actually included on one of the biggest labels of underground, Pedro Futuro.
Yes, it's really good. It's such a massive compilation, isn't it? It's fantastic. I hope, we still haven't received our copy yet, so I'm really excited to get that.
Me neither, actually.
Yeah.
I actually ordered. Yeah, I ordered it, but I haven't get that yet.
No,
But
but
yeah,
postage hit to Norway it often takes ages from the UK. I don't know why, it's just a neighbouring country, but I think to Mexico it probably takes even longer.
yeah,
So, it
like
can
a
take
month.
ages, so.
Actually,
Yeah,
A month.
We'll probably get it next year or something. We'll see.
Yeah, that's like the top, like the maximum, the 1 month.
A month, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a long time. It used to be so quick when you ordered from Juno and stuff. It used to be cheap and quick. But
Yeah.
Well, isn't
Times have
anymore.
changed. No.
times have changed.
Yeah.
Have changed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's
Chris,
a massive compilation. I'm really looking forward to getting. It's like 5 vinyls. Insane.
Yeah.
Awesome.
they didn't get all the tracks because, well, it was like 25 tracks. They just put like, I think 21 or 20, I think.
Okay, so didn't know that. So it's only the CD version that has all the full compilation.
CD
Yeah.
and download, I think.
They couldn't
No,
fit.
CD
Yeah,
download. Okay, I didn't know.
yeah, they couldn't fit all of the tracks, so they just put like 5 vinyls. That's okay.
Yeah.
Bless you.
No, nice.
So Chris and Begert, we're actually going to reach. This is going to be the last minutes because, well, I don't want you to get a hold of you or getting in more time.
Okay.
Because I know that you have things to do. You have your life. So
We have a studio session.
but but
Yes.
it was so far I really enjoyed you're really enjoying the interview. I don't know if you guys are enjoying the interview so far.
Yeah. Thank you. It's good. Thank you.
So yeah, you're welcome, Begert. Yeah, me, I really enjoying this interview. But we have to take advantage of the last minutes. So one of the last actual questions that I have for you, what actually, when you first heard of Bedrock Records, what was the first time you actually heard of the label?
Oh wow.
And do you have like a favorite track? Because, well, I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult for me too. Because, well, there's a lot of really amazing tracks there on the label. But yeah, the first question is, when do you actually first heard about the label of Bedrock?
Oh.
I don't even know how long they've existed, but I just feel they've been there for as long as I've been DJing, but that's probably not true.
1998.
Maybe it's
actually.
just because
98.
they have been since 98.
Yeah.
Oh wow, then they have been there for as long as I've been DJing. And it's the same with John Digweed. He's been like super well known and famous since before I started, and it's just wow. 98. Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
well,
they're
it's
celebrating the
been
25 years.
25
That's
years,
true. That is true. Is it 25 years since 98? It can't be 25 years. It feels like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But even
That's
though
insane,
yeah.
But even though the very first release was actually on 1999.
Oh, was it? Okay.
The label was created on 1998, but the very first release was Heaven Sent on 1999.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, you know more about Bedrock than I do.
Yeah,
Well, a little bit.
I mean, but back in '90, yeah, I guess I started DJing about '96, '97, and that was drum and bass. That was all I was DJing until sort of like maybe late '90s, and then started off with some electro and stuff. So I didn't really start playing house until later. So I missed out on the sort of the halcyon days of Bedrock. The first couple of years. I've always known John Digweed, always heard his sets.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in the UK as well, so I know a lot about the sort of the holy, wasn't it? Like the trinity of the DJs. Sasha, Digweed, Nick Warren, all the big ones. I was really into completely different music back then. so I wasn't paying attention. So I don't know much about the catalog at all, which is a bit embarrassing to say. So I wish I could choose, like a classic from the old days, but I can't because I have to do my research first. So I don't really know what I'm talking about. That's my bad answer, but that's my answer. Yeah, I can't really can't lie.
Yeah, it's okay, Chris. Yeah, actually, after the creation, I think there was a point where they created 2 sub-labels. They created the breaks, Bedrock breaks, and I think there was Bedrock. I think there's just one, but just Bedrock breaks. But yeah, they were just focusing on breaks and not on another type of genre. Bedrock Black, I think. Bedrock Black, I think that was the other sub-label. But it was like a more, well, like the sub-label implied, it was like more dark, like darker sounds. So but yeah, it's okay, Chris. I mean, yeah, but
I have to do my homework.
You have a lot of homework to do, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, if 25 years of music, that's a lot, and the release rate, at least these days, is pretty high. I'm sure it was back then as well. So there's going to be a lot of music.
Yeah.
I just went to I just went onto the Bedrock page on Discogs to just have a look, and it's insane. They have so much music.
Yeah.
I just went there now just to have a look, and just I remember like a lot of this Steve Lawler stuff that I used to love back in the day, which was like more, I don't know, it's not more like driving, like almost tribally, I think it seems to remember. I have to go through this again because there's a lot of names that I remember here. So yeah.
Yeah, actually,
cool.
When I first heard the tracks were not in 1998. I was actually really small at that time, and I didn't know about the label until I think 2006. I got introduced with my uncle that actually he's a DJ, and he presented me with 2 CDs. The first one was MM11. Well, MMII. Well, it's 2002 in and that actual CD was it blew my mind. It was a really nice approach of what was actually starting on Bedrock, and then what was and then in the future, because I think that when you actually hear that out, I would recommend that. I recommend that CD for you guys to listen. It is a really amazing transition of tracks. He's actually, I think it was on vinyl and also on CD. He released, not all the tracks also, but he released most of the standout tracks of the MMII. So you can actually hear that out from the sounds from the past and sounds from a little bit from the present and the future. So I think that's a really amazing compilation. You can actually hear that out. That was actually the first CD that I actually heard from John. So after that I fell in love with all the tracks, and I started searching for Bedrock and for the tracks, and yes, I can actually feel that when the label first started, it was more focused on because on that time it was the trance, I think, on the UK, and after that it kept changing. The sounds were not changing. I kind of that's not the correct word. Evolving.
Yes.
Evolving. Yeah.
So yes, we the label reached out to the 25th anniversary of, and you're included. That's really amazing.
It's insane. I think, if I remember right, there's like some acid tracks here, or Acidy by Pete Heller and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
Pete Heller. Yeah.
Yeah. I seem my memory is really bad when it comes to DJing and stuff. I prefer playing live because then I can remember what tracks it is because it's our own track.
Yeah, you
I'm
probably.
joking, but I'm really bad with names and memories of tracks. But yeah.
Yeah, you actually probably you heard of Bedrock. Well, Bedrock tracks, and you didn't know about them.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
yeah, I think that's.
But yeah, I remember that
Chris
there was
is-
like a Pete Heller track that was insane that I remember. I can't remember when it was out, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that the name of the track is Acid something. But yeah,
Acid something, like all acid tracks.
like all Acid tracks.
Exactly, yeah. It's cool.
Something with acid.
So, well, thank you so much, Beggar. Thank you so much, Chris. And not to worry. I mean, I was actually when I was asking about the Bedrock and Bedrock tracks, but the most important thing is that you're actually included. You're actually part of the family now.
We're part of it now.
Yeah. I mean,
It is.
getting into this big label with John supporting your tracks, John listening to your tracks. I think that's a big highlight for you. I think so.
It is.
Definitely.
It feels unreal.
Yeah, unreal.
Almost. Yeah, it's like. Yeah, it is. It is the highlight. It's definitely something we never dreamed about. Sitting in our little basement making music.
Oh my god, I really hope that I can meet you guys in person someday to go to Norway and talk about a lot of
Let's
things
meet
because I'm sorry?
Let's meet in Mexico instead. It's much nicer there.
Much nicer in Mexico.
You think?
Let's meet in Mexico. Yeah, let's go to Mexico instead because here it's like minus 25 and snowing.
Dark. It's like dark 20 hours of the day as well, so there's no daylight here. That's pretty grim.
Well, yeah. Well, I hope that you can come someday to play here.
I hope so too.
There's a news flash. I'm actually working with one of my friends. We're trying to actually book Captain Mustache. Also,
cool.
Frankie and Sandrino also. So
Wow. Cool. We know them, yeah.
I hope that we can actually bring you here to play with your live setup someday.
Oh, that would be amazing.
So
we're there.
Yes, you're welcome here. Mexico, off Norway is coming.
Let's go to Mexico.
Viva
Las Mexico.
Fantastic.
Well, Chris
Fantastic.
and Megan,
thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome, and it was a real pleasure to talk with you. To really two big artists, and that well. And it was really such a pleasure. I don't have the words to express, but it was a really an amazing pleasure to talk with you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us on board.
You're welcome, and we're still in touch.
Yeah, stay in touch.
All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.